Tell me about the first time you experienced racism. So with the Black Lives Matter movement, I decided to share my first experience of the racism. It was when I was 7. I was actually labeled as a thief. I was not invited to a sleepover because the grandmother said that because I was black, she could not have a little black girl in her house because black people steal.
I came to Graham, North Carolina, Alamance County, and I found out I was black.
How does it make you feel that the word is still out there and is still prevalent and it's still something that's used as a derogatory term?
Oh, I'm definitely angry about it. I'm definitely angry, and I would love for us to stop using it ourselves. I know we trying to take that word and turn it into something positive and own it, but at the same time to just think about what my ancestors and those who fought for me had to go through and had to listen to that. I'm very angry that it's still a word that we're using. Why do you feel like you have to call me that? Why do you feel like I am a nigger when I'm just as educated as you, if not more?
Tell me about your experiences in Alamance County, being born and raised in that type of community here in the South.
So I think that I had a unique experience because my mother is not from Alamance County. She grew up in Randolph County, which in some ways can be much worse and much more extreme and blatant. My dad grew up in Alamance County, and he was very familiar with the small signs, the places where you should not go. The neighborhood where I grew up, when my father was growing up, if black kids walked through that neighborhood, they threw rocks at them. It's very interesting to grow up and my father still be cautious. He was very cautious about things in the county because a lot of the people that are now in positions of authority, he grew up with in segregated Alamance County. So Terry Johnson was his classmate. That is now our sheriff. Current lawsuit pending by the ACLU with regards to our sheriff's department.
We had to walk on eggshells. We had to walk on eggshells in Alamance County, and I think that because of what's going on right now, people are more hip to the game of what goes on.
The daughters of the Confederacy and the sons of the Confederacy were in our Christmas parade. Like,
Because of the battlefield.
Because of the battlefield. And it being like this thought process of preserving history, but really you get older, you do your research, and you find out that a man was lynched in Courthouse Square.
He was.
And, you know, people that were high-ranking officials in the Ku Klux Klan were the ones who presented the statue to the community.
I knew leaving the community meeting that we were going to organize around their issues, which were our issues. We were afraid that what had happened in Brunswick and what had happened in Minneapolis could happen anywhere, including Alamance County. We had planned a march, and that night I was really taken aback at what I learned. Not only the issues, I expected that. What I didn't expect to learn that night was the fear.
Beautiful color, the beautiful people of our community who love our community, who shape our community, who change our community and rend it from itself to what it needs to be, because you are that community. And today, we are here to do that through voting.
We have to demonstrate. You're demonstrating.
Glad I came to Winston. I hope I'll try my best to come back. I'm gonna bring more people. We ain't looting, we ain't rioting.
We took your food
lawful assembly. Everybody needs to disperse, please.
Yes, you have to.
White-led police department, white-led sheriff's department. Well, are you suggesting, Drumright, that all white chiefs and sheriffs have it out for black folks? No. But the fact in Alamance County is that they have been investigated for disproportionately arresting blacks and Hispanics and found guilty of those things from the federal government.
It was the march that happened downtown in response to the October 31st march, where they pepper sprayed, and it was an enormous amount of people that turned up for that march. And I was not expecting to see, you know, people that I knew on the opposite corner, because most of the people that I surround myself with now are not on what I call Confederate corner. So once we made it down here to the square, you know, we're within distance to be able to see faces and people, and you're hearing the ugliness coming from that corner. There was a man that, you know, was yelling, "Get the noose." So you can't tell me that the flags that you're flying and your heritage are separate of the racism when you're using those terms. And it was at that point that I recognized my mom. And it's this pit that forms in your stomach that you know that you are fundamentally different from the people that raised you and that are closest to you in your life. And it's devastating.
Justice for the next generation! 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 Justice for the next generation!
At that point, you realize in the 7th grade that there's kids that are taught racism, and it's always going to be taught in this area, and it doesn't have to be. Like, it's never too late to unlearn racism.